So yeah, this is either the Q&A video or the Q&A section, and it's just going to be quick. It's not going to be me waffling on for hours. It's just a bit of fun, something a bit different to make that video more interesting, or just as a video on its own. Anyway, let's crack on. So the first question is from Claire Smith, and what she asks me is, if I had to lose one note, what would it be? Jasmine, violet or tuberose? And now this is a really interesting question. Probably three of my favourite notes. Now I've got a get out of jail card free with this one, because jasmine is kind of a staple, isn't it, in perfumery. You might not always smell it, but it's certainly in a fragrance. And you can tell me off because I might be wrong here, but isn't one of the elements of it hedione, or is that the kind of synthetic jasmine smell? Whatever. That's yeah, so we can straight away rule out jasmine, as much as I blooming love it, because it'd still be synthetic. Tuberose or violet. Now I can cheat again slightly. Now, as much as violet, probably one of my favourite, if not my favourite notes. I do know what it's called. Whatever makes violet also produces the smell and feel of iris as well, and they're kind of interchangeable as notes. I think maybe it's which way you want your fragrance to go and stuff, but part of the violet flower makes iris, so I could cope with that more violet-y iris. So I could, yeah, we're losing obviously jasmine, because we can, we kind of can do it in other ways, and you can't really lose it. And then it would be violet, and then tuberose, I suppose, would be the one I just couldn't bear to lose. Tuberose is just a magical fragrance note, isn't it? It's sweet, it's green, it's animalic, and kind of a little bit naughty and indolic sometimes. Sometimes it's fresh, and you're walking along the tuberose meadows. It's got this something about it that's really carnal, hasn't it? And it's just an oomph fragrance. So yeah, that kind of answered but didn't answer that question. Thanks, Claire. Good question though. Claire's other question would be, which fragrance would AJ knock over first? I think that's which one would she hate? She has actually. It's funny because you can see Pet's reactions. Maybe she's quite similar to me. I think the aroma chemicals are boom out so much. She struggles with the more, the less. There's nothing wrong. Again, this is not a natural synthetic argument. I've got no thing with synthetics, but some use such obnoxious things. I think as well as our nose, it can trigger our pets as well. So something like a parfums. I don't own any parfums, Damali. Who am I kidding? Probably my dupe, which makes me sad. But yeah, that's probably the one she'd knock over and break. Next is a really good question from Rose and Jones, Lizzie, and that's, do you think some influencers are AI generated? Yes. I mean, even in actual fact, I mean, what the words they say are so chat GPT, aren't they? They are so a perfume brand. How can I sell this fragrance? Right, influencer, you read this out. Whatever you do not have your own opinion. You are not allowed to say whether you love it or hate it, or go on then, we'll let you say you love it, but don't point out any negative points about it, and tell them how worth it is, the money, even though you didn't pay for it, or to sample something even though you didn't. It's kind of this some of them are so generic. You can listen to the review of some of the flavour of the month. I don't know why brands send them all out at the same time sometimes. I suppose it's that mass drop, isn't it? Someone's going to pick up one of the videos, but they all say the same thing, and it's why I'll never. I wouldn't. Well, I'm not capable or professional enough to go down that path, but I wouldn't want to read some miserable, dry, crap where you can't say, even with fragrances I love, you know, I will say this is beautiful, I love it, it's fantastic, but other people may struggle with this side of it, or that. No, you can't say that. And also, to be fair, some of them even look like they could be generated, you know, by AI. They're so like perfect and professional and everything's smooth and do people really tune into YouTube to have that? To have basically some professional actor, advertiser reading something to them? I don't know. We want real people and real people's views, don't we, surely? You know, I don't really hold David Beckham in much kind of regard when he's talking about a fragrance, but so be it. So the answer to your question, Lizzie Bet, do I think some influencers are AI generated? Yes. The lovely Freakberry and Margo's perfumes, Margo, both have sent questions to tell me that they love my cat. She's not here, so yeah, you're not going to curry any favour with her. We've got a lovely dog here. No, she is lovely, but I think she gets enough attention, doesn't she, really? She is the queen of all. But thank you ladies, I shall let her know. Well, I don't need to, do I? She already knows. Right, thanks ladies for your question. A good friend of mine, who shall remain anonymous, asked me pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Well, as we know, I'm allergic to cheese and lactose intolerant. I make my own pizzas, therefore there would never ever be pineapple on my pizzas. And the only thing, savoury thing, that pineapple works with is, I'm, you know, an old school boy, is gammon. So there we are. That's my answer to that fine question. Thank you, anonymous. Next, a question from Lowkeyhighflyer Helen, and she asked which fragrance does AJ like most. Now this is a really interesting question, actually. Now the brand I've noticed a warm to most to is an indie brand called Badoo, and also it's weird. She'll rub her head and go a little bit crazy over a lot of indie fragrances. Now I suspect there's something natural in them that kind of gets the cats going. I'm not a scientist, but on the top of my head, with the way the things she goes crazy for in real life tend to be green things. You know, if I've got grass or there's flowers, she tends to go a bit mental over them. And also, again, it could be synthetic. No, I'm not saying these fragrances are like bleach, because they're most definitely not. But the smell of bleach drives her insane. So it could be whatever molecule is in to scent the bleach, or, which I love the smell of, like AJ actually, or something that's in a lot of things. But it must be, well, it could be a molecule, couldn't it? But yeah, she does have a little penchant for especially Amanda's work. I don't know why, I love them. Well, she clearly loves them as well. So yeah, it kind of answers your question, doesn't it? Next we have a few questions from Liquid Joy Miruna. The first one is there a fragrance I regret buying? That's a tricky question, that. Because I sample so much, it is very unlikely nowadays I blind buy. Although the last fragrance I did blind buy, well, the last major purchase I made was a blind buy, and my most expensive. Yes, I know. I do like it, thank God. Yeah, probably. I've got a lot of stuff I don't wear that often from the early days. Let's go for Dupont Red, whatever it's called. Oh my God! I mean, you know, I love the original, and some of the flankers really are quite good. But this one is just like red, burning, melted plastic. It's absolutely horrific. But this was when I started, and you kind of go with things you know, don't you, a bit better. I can't say I've ever wore it. but I can't say I'm ever going to let it go either, because it's, you know, it's very rare now, and it's a dupe, innit? So yeah, from dupe is dupe on red. What the hell is it called? Red something. I'll obviously flash it at the bottom. Miruna then asked what's AJ's favourite, the Queen's. Same answer to the last question. I'll go for it. Let's give it a name. Let's say Hibou. But she does love Amanda's work, especially. Favourite fragrances on my wife or partner? Well, we'll talk, you know, in potential future things here or past. I was saying that none of my partners have really ever wore this one. They were angel girls. But it's Mugler's Alien. It's just catnip, isn't it? It's just heavenly. The musks in that make me, you know, like a cat rubbing their leg, and it's that kind of oof. But I mean the original, the new one. It's all gone, isn't it? All of what made Alien is gone. But that old one with that muskiness and that dark jasmine just had such a magical effect on me. And you can, you know, you still smell it on people nowadays. You don't know them, but you're instantly like, oh, that's just magical. So yeah, Mugler's Alien. Another great question from Miruna. A bottle design you hate and one you love. Now, I've given this to my nephew, so it doesn't count anymore, but I had Paco Rabanne's 1 million, the plum one, Lucky, and my hands are too small to be able to operate it. It was really tricky because I couldn't get my. You have to kind of. It was no, and also Bulgari's. Now I love their fragrances, but the sprayers wee at you, don't they? You press the button, they go like that, like I'm going to spit at you. So I don't like them. Ones I love. There's so many. There's so many unique ones I've got as well now. To be fair, I'd say the Amouage ones, especially iridescent ones, because they're very pretty, they're handy, they're good, obviously bottles, but the iridescence is beautiful on them. And obviously it's got a magnetic cap, so you sat doing that and you sat doing that, making rainbows and stuff. So yeah, the Amouage bottles. And then another great one from Miruna. What's your favourite fragrance family? I think with me it's kind of obvious, isn't it? And I think, like I've spoken about a few times, I think it always has been, and that's floral fragrances. Basically any type of floral, apart from I struggle with vintage sharp ones, like a sharp jasmine or sharp tuberose, neroli and things like that. But pretty much every other flower I can dig. I'm getting into things that I didn't really appreciate before, like carnation now. So yeah, it's everything floral, be the, you know, yellow, white, blue, purple. They all have their own kind of benefits. Even more, rose, you have to try it. It just goes to show how many roses I've tried. I think if you say you like 1 in 10 roses, which it probably is for me, you do find some in there that you just adore. So yeah, florals is the answer to that. Finally from Miruna is what's on your wish list. Like I said, I bought a Naughty Blind Buy that was on there. I bought recently a unicorn one, came up at a ridiculous price. Amouage Fate, so I got that one. Same with Amouage Interlude Woman, and there is another Amouage on my list, but I suspect I'll be waiting for a long time for this one to come down in price, and that's Amouage Opus 13 Silver Oud. That's there. There are more on my wish list, but I've kind of fallen a bit for another one-way bridge, and I do want a bigger bottle of the one I've already got, which is Pitching Woo. So yeah, there's a few, but we'll wait and see, won't we? probably there's the odd discontinued one which I can't think of right now, which again, what Ubar from Amouage I suppose might be right at the top, but it's so rare to get nowadays, and the ones you do see are, you're talking £400, £500, £600. No. So hopefully Amouage will bring that back, as it is one of their legendary ones. So yeah, a few, mainly Amouages. Thanks for all the questions, Miruna, as well. Hopefully I've answered them alright. And finally, a wonderful question from quite a wonderful woman, from Olga Perfumedaze and slash perfume walks. What Olga asked me is, have I ever thought about starting my own fragrance brand? No, because I don't have the money, and I don't think I ever would for that. But at the same time, I have thought about fragrances that I'd like to be made, and I did a whole video on that. Go check it out. And yeah, I would like some. I don't have the technical know-how. Not even to have a brand, I don't have the technical know-how or anything like that. But I do have the ideas. So if I ever win the lottery, I wouldn't get a brand necessarily. Although I suppose I would, I'd have to, wouldn't I? But I have perfumers in mind who would make these ones as well. And obviously you bow to their knowledge and expertise. So yeah, I have thought about fragrances I'd like, I guess. More so than me being kind of a top dog. I don't have the scientific brain either to ever do it myself. I know that. I mean, you know, I'd love to be a perfume. No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't be able to do it, and I do a very substandard job. These people are very qualified, very brilliant, scientific, creative geniuses, and that ain't me. So thanks, Olga. And this is the end of the video, or the end of the two videos. I mean, are there any more questions you want to ask me, you please feel free. And I've walked into a dead end, and oh no, there's a very skinny gate there. So yeah, please feel free to ask away. You know, that's pretty much anything, even daft ones, because you know, it's all fun, isn't it, really? And thanks for all the support I've always had, and just all the warmth and everything for anyone. And yeah, I know you all love AJ more than me, but who wouldn't? Alright folks, thanks, bye.